Our baby chicks are now about 2.5 weeks old. They will be 3 weeks old on Tuesday, and today is Sunday. So I finally cleaned out their corral, and I wanted to do a quick check-in with y'all so y'all can see how much they have grown in the last 2.5 weeks. The baby chicks now are starting to get their true feathers. A lot of them have almost probably doubled in size. Maybe not quite doubled, but they're getting close to that. And you can see that their coloring is a lot different for some of them, than when they were hatched. Like I said, when they're born, they have down feathers, and then they start to lose those feathers and grow their true feathers, and that's why their coloring a lot of times will change, sometimes very dramatically, as they get older. As I said, I just cleaned out their pen and gave them all new shavings, gave them fresh water, gave them some more food. I try to keep both of those full. Sometimes, though, it will look like they don't have any food in their container, and that is because they like to scratch it out. If you can see, there's already some around the outside of the feeder container. They like to get it out there, and then they'll peck and scratch around in the wood shavings for their food. And so when I cleaned it out a little while ago, there was quite a bit of food still in the shavings that I had to throw away. So sometimes it will look like they don't have any food, but they do have quite a bit of food still in there. The water, that's a constant battle to try to keep all of that wood shavings out of it. That's why I have it lifted up, but even then you can see I cleaned it out just about 30 minutes ago, and they've already gotten wood shavings in there. One thing you might notice is I do not have the hanging heat lamp in here yet. I'm actually going to switch that out and put what we call a brooder lamp into their pen. They don't need it quite as warm now that they've gotten a little bit older. We only need to keep it between 80 and 85 degrees, and they were getting a little warm with that heat lamp because I can't raise it much more. That hook is about as high as it would raise, and so they were getting a little bit warm, and the brooder lamp sits lower, but it doesn't put off quite as much heat, and so I'm going to get that in there here in a little bit. They are also starting to roost some. I'll come in and they'll be sitting on top of the containers in here. And so I'm going to also add a little roosting toy, I guess, that they can sit on so they can roost. And once I get those in, I'll do another quick little video you'll see at the end of this video. So just wanted to touch base with you. I will probably keep the baby chicks in this corral for another week and a half. Once they get to be about 4 weeks old, they're almost too big for this, and they're starting to try to fly out of the corral, and they just need a little bit more room. And so then I will be moving them to a bigger box that we have next to our chicken coop. So inside our chicken coop, but it will keep them separate from our bigger chickens because we don't want to commingle them till they're at least 8 to 10 weeks old, so that the larger chickens don't pick on the smaller chickens. I'm going to kind of zoom in here a little bit. They're all, come on, y'all move. But you can see that their coloring is very different. They've gotten a lot larger. They'll be 3 weeks old in a couple of days. So that is just a quick check-in on our baby chicks that we hatched on May 18th, May 19th. Still in their corral for another week and a half at least. And I'll do another check-in in a few days. Well, in about another week or so y'all can see how much they grow. I just wanted to point out a couple more things to y'all. As I was talking in the first part of the video, I added a couple more things to their corral. That black thing in the back there, that is a brooder lamp. It doesn't put off light, but it does put off heat. However, I'm not really sure I'm going to leave it in there. Last night when I added it, they all kind of stayed over on this side. So I don't think they're cold at all. They don't seem to be gravitating towards the heat. They actually seem to be staying away from it. And that could be just because it is warmer outside. It's not as cold inside the house. I have them in a room that doesn't have a lot of ventilation as far as like a fan blowing right on them or anything. So by the time they're at 3 weeks, they really only need to be around 75 to 80 degrees, and I'm keeping it about 75 in my house, so they may not need that heater, and it's just taking up room in their corral, so I may take that out. You'll see I also added back over here, that's a little thing that they can roost on if they want to sit. As you just see, one of them jumped up on top of the water container, so they're getting to that point where they want to roost. It's in their instincts. And so that's why I added that thing in the corner here that they can sit on and roost. I also, if you can see, have a piece of chicken wire over the top because as they are starting to roost, they're getting up higher and I don't want them to fly out of the corral. So I added a little piece of chicken wire to kind of keep them contained inside there just in case they test their wings a little too much and can get out of the corral. So just wanted to point those few things out to y'all. Like I said, I'll probably take that brooder lamp out. They don't seem to be cold, and therefore that, like I said, is just taking up some extra room inside the corral that they might need to run around. Those are our baby chicks. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and they will be the majority of them will be 3 weeks old. One more week probably in this corral, and then we'll start thinking about moving them outside to a box out there in the chicken house to give them a little bit more room, because this is definitely, they're going to grow out of this fixture here soon. So let me just kind of zoom in on them a little bit. They're up and moving around and eating. Last night they were all huddled over here in the corner, sleeping. They like to sleep on top of each other and huddled together. And then there's their food. But they're just chirping away. Also wanted to point out, I'm not sure I pointed it out in the first part of the video or not. This one right here is our Silky. That one is going to stay a little bit smaller than a normal chicken, than other chicken breeds. And then these two little black ones right here, and the other one is right there. So there's 3 little black ones. Those are our Sea Brights, and they're also going to stay smaller. So when you look at them and you think, why are they smaller than the others in the box? That's because that is their breed, and those breeds will stay smaller. So you'll notice as they start to grow and I start sharing those pictures with you, they're always going to be a little bit smaller than the other chickens in the house. All right. There's our baby chicks, almost 3 weeks old.